Andy Burnham is set to become Britain's first lifelong Roman Catholic Prime Minister when he takes office on Monday. The image of a Roman Catholic leading the UK has a long history, but for much of that history, Catholics could not even sit in Parliament. It wasn't until the 19th century reforms of 1829 and 1858 that many of those legal barriers were lifted, though the land remained a stronghold of Protestant, especially Anglican, tradition. England today is remarkably secular by the numbers in the recent census, yet the state still keeps a close relationship with the Church of England. The monarch is the supreme governor, and the prime minister historically advises the mucho on the appointment of bishops, significant in until recently, but the role now often symbolic. That public affiliation is why a senior contemporary source noted that Mr. Burnham may have to formally delegate part of this duty, reflecting the new standard of a more secular government. Burn examines contextual background. After the Glorious Revolution of 1688, which replaced the last Catholic king, James II, anti-Catholic laws were deepened and the memory of Catholic mistrust lived into modern policy. Through the years, Catholicism's place in Britain has shifted, but the record remained that prominent modern leaders such as Mr. Burnham have often combined religious identity with political life. His own statements exemplify this. Born into a family of Irish heritage, Burnham grew up in Roman Catholic schools. In 2015, his mother, Eileen, recalled that "You should have seen the fights he and his brothers had on Sundays. They were all altar boys, but Andy had to be the one at the front holding the communion plate." The fact that he was such a visible figure in the Catholic Church is part of his story. In a 2009 Guardian interview, he emphasized that the Catholic Church, alongside his family and his love of Everton Football Club, was the third pillar of his life. He said, "It all comes back to cultural identity." He later met Pope Francis in 2023 and told The Telegraph that, even though he is not a Catholic in the full sense of the word, he felt a magnetic pull to the acronyms. Others pointed out that it is possible to identify with a faith without full practice, likening it to staying a fan of a team while no longer attending matches. The significance of his appointment goes beyond symbolism, it highlights the historical trajectory from persecution to full inclusion. The earlier times when Catholics were barred from Parliament, and even counterculture included an extension that the Prime Minister would normally tell the monarch to appoint bishops, were not wholly ceremonial. Modern Britain is indeed less religious, with 37% respondents in the last census identifying with no religion, but the remnants of a Protestant state obviously still exist. That changes the conversation in the political establishment around cultural identity. Mr. Burnham acknowledges he is not a devout Catholic, and the media will no doubt keep a close eye at 539 how he will navigate interactions with the Church of England, as well as his own background. But whether or not he holds up his robe's liturgical curtains, most Australians will look at his appointment through the same candid lens he has employed his own life, prove is a glimpse of the level. The historical opposition to a Catholic Prime Minister reveals how far political culture has moved from the low to its modern inclusive expression. At the base, Burnham's cultural Catholic is part of his heritage, but his real lie is that a state free of such a barrier can legitimately have one. Today, that might be a first. In closing, we will watch as a Parks political clop at that question and let him orient himself just as he has always carried his culture with an open mind, ready for the next. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned for more updates.